Rick Ross just put $50 million on the table for Floyd Mayweather, and the internet is losing its collective mind trying to figure out why a self-made mogul would risk that kind of paper on a boxer everybody swears is broke. Watch this, because in the next few minutes, Floyd Mayweather is either the greatest financial magician alive or the greatest financial illusion hip-hop has ever built up, and by the end of this video, you will not be able to unseen which one it is. Let me set the scene and let me set it clean because everybody online is missing the actual story. The story is not that Floyd Mayweather owes the IRS. The story is not that 50 Cent posted another joke. The story is not that Rick Ross went on a live stream and defended a friend. The story is this. Three of the most calculated business minds in modern hip-hop and boxing culture are standing on completely different sides of a single question. And that question is quietly reshaping how we measure wealth, loyalty, and legacy in real time. Buckle in, because this one is different. Here's where it started. Rick Ross went on a live stream, and somebody in Rick Ross's direct messages said, and I'm quoting the energy exactly, "Rose, you better make better moves and end up like Mayweather." That sentence right there, that one sentence, that is the match that lit the whole fire. Because Rick Ross paused, looked at the camera, and asked the question everybody at home has been dancing around for 2 years now. Do you actually believe Floyd Mayweather is broke? And before anybody could answer, Rick Ross answered for the room. No, absolutely not. Please stop listening to the rumors. Rick Ross said Floyd Mayweather is worth more money than any article, any headline, any tabloid could ever put into print. And then Rick Ross said the thing that turned the whole timeline upside down. Rick Ross said, if Floyd Mayweather needed $50 million right now, Rick Ross would put $50 million up on Floyd Mayweather, another $50 million on Gervonta Davis, and book the Hard Rock Stadium personally to make it happen. That is not a compliment. That is a receipt. That is Rick Ross telling the entire internet. Do not confuse a public perception of Floyd Mayweather with a private accounting of Floyd Mayweather. Two very different ledgers. Two very different truths. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because for every person nodding along with Rick Ross, there's a headline sitting right next to them saying the opposite. Floyd Mayweather is being sued by a Miami jeweler over unpaid checks on 27 watches and 15 chains, a bill that runs $1.675 million, of which only $300,000 was allegedly paid. 5 checks reportedly bounced. Money Mayweather. Bounced checks. Let that sit for a second. Add to that a New York claim over $330,000 in unpaid rent on a Manhattan penthouse. Add a separate federal case in South Florida involving a reported $4 million jewelry dispute. Add rumors of an IRS lien. Add whispers of pawn jewelry. And suddenly Rick Ross's $50 million declaration is not just a friendly cosign. It is a full-blown counter-narrative. Rick Ross is not defending a rumor. Rick Ross is fighting a paper trail. And the internet is watching to see who blinks first. Then 50 Cent walks into the room. Because of course 50 Cent walks into the room. 50 Cent posted, and again the words matter here. Damn champ, WDF, if you need some money, just call me. We could have kept this from getting so messy. Now the feds are looking for you. Love you, bro. I am not mad at you no more. Call me. Read that again. Read it slow, because that is not a joke post. That is a scalpel dressed up as a punchline. 50 Cent, a man who has publicly warred with Floyd Mayweather for over a decade, a man who once demanded Floyd Mayweather read a full page of Harry Potter out loud on camera, a man who has turned Floyd Mayweather content into a personal genre, suddenly plays a concerned friend card. And nobody, and I mean nobody, buys it as sincere. But that is exactly the point. 50 Cent is not writing to Floyd Mayweather. 50 Cent is writing to the algorithm. 50 Cent knows the second Floyd Mayweather trends. Every clip, every screenshot, every reaction video pulls 50 Cent's name right back into the same current. That post is not empathy. That post is oxygen. And here is where the unique angle finally reveals itself. Because everybody else is arguing whether Floyd Mayweather is broke or not broke, whether Rick Ross is loyal or naive, whether 50 Cent is trolling or telling. Everybody is arguing the surface. Nobody is asking the real question. Nobody is asking why a man who built an entire brand on the phrase Money Mayweather is now trapped in the one prison money cannot unlock, the prison of the persona. Because the moment Floyd Mayweather stamped money on a chain, on a promotion company, on a lifestyle, on a legacy, Floyd Mayweather signed a contract with the public that said, I will always be liquid. I will always be flexing. I will always be untouchable. And the second the public even thinks that contract is cracked, the whole persona starts to bleed. That is not a Floyd Mayweather problem. That is not a hip-hop problem. That is a psychology problem. And every celebrity watching this right now is quietly taking notes, because Floyd Mayweather is a case study. Think about it this way. Floyd Mayweather made an estimated $1.1 billion in career earnings, more than any boxer in the history of the sport. Floyd Mayweather retired 50-0, undefeated, a numerical perfection almost nobody in combat sports has ever touched. Floyd Mayweather turned pay-per-view into a personal ATM. Floyd Mayweather turned trash talk into a licensing deal. And yet, right now, in this exact moment, the biggest question on the timeline is not whether Floyd Mayweather can win a fight. The biggest question is whether Floyd Mayweather can win a headline. That is a shift nobody is talking about, and that is a shift that Rick Ross accidentally exposed and 50 Cent surgically exploited. Rick Ross said something else on that stream that most people scroll right past, and it is arguably the most important sentence in this entire saga. Rick Ross said Floyd Mayweather is still the face of boxing. Not was, is, present tense. Rick Ross is telling you the brand equity of Floyd Mayweather has not depreciated, even if the bank account has. Because in the celebrity economy, being the face of something is worth more than being the owner of something. Rick Ross knows that. Rick Ross built an entire empire on that principle. Real estate, seasoning wing chains, cigar lounges. Rick Ross is not selling songs. Rick Ross is selling a face. And Rick Ross is looking at Floyd Mayweather and seeing a face that is still worth 9 figures on a Tuesday. That is why Rick Ross put the $50 million number in the air. Rick Ross is not gambling on Floyd Mayweather being solvent. Rick Ross is betting on Floyd Mayweather being famous. 2 entirely different investments. 2 entirely different returns. Now flip it. 50 Cent knows this too, and 50 Cent is playing the opposite side of the same board. 50 Cent is not attacking Floyd Mayweather's bank account. 50 Cent is attacking Floyd Mayweather's brand equity. Every joke post, every mocking meme, every jab about the feds, about the IRS, about the bounce checks, is a slow drip campaign designed to do one thing: devalue the face. Because if the face devalues, the $50 million cosign from Rick Ross becomes exponentially more expensive to justify. That is not petty. That is chess. 50 Cent is playing chess in a game everyone else thinks is Twitter. And here is the piece nobody in any of these gossip videos is telling you. 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather were once real, actual, in the flesh best friends. Back in 2002, before the belts, before the billboards, before the Mayweather Promotions logo was ever stitched onto a robe. 50 Cent has said on the record that Floyd Mayweather used to sleep at 50 Cent's house every day, that the two of them would hit the boxing gym together, kick it, hang out, live like billionaire brothers. Then 50 Cent went away, and when 50 Cent came back, there was a newspaper on the counter announcing something called the Money Team, TMT Promotions. And 50 Cent, according to 50 Cent, expected to be a 50-50 partner in the boxing side of that business. Whether that was a real handshake or a misremembered dream, only 2 people alive know for sure. But whatever happened in that gap, whatever conversation did or did not occur, that is the fracture that never healed. That is a crack that produced every diss, every meme, every Harry Potter clip, every Instagram post you have ever seen between these 2 grown men. So when Rick Ross defends Floyd Mayweather, Rick Ross is not just defending Floyd Mayweather the fighter. Rick Ross is defending Floyd Mayweather businessman, the brand, the closed chapter with 50 Cent, the entire mythology. And when 50 Cent needles Floyd Mayweather, 50 Cent is not just needling Floyd Mayweather the fighter. 50 Cent is reopening a wound that started in a 2-bedroom apartment argument 2 decades ago. This is not a news story. This is a Shakespearean loop, and hip-hop just happens to be the stage. Meanwhile, in the background, a completely separate story is picking up dangerous speed. A planned exhibition fight for Floyd Mayweather in Greece was reportedly canceled. Reports are pointing to prior promotional agreements, possible entanglements with legacy Mike Tyson and Manny Pacquiao rematch talks, and a knotted web of contractual conflicts nobody is explaining on the record. And whenever Floyd Mayweather is in the middle of a scheduling mess, the name Al Heyman starts trending underneath it. Al Heyman, Floyd Mayweather's longtime business advisor, one of the most powerful and quietly operating figures in the entire sport, the architect behind premier boxing champions. And this is the moment 50 Cent again walks back into the timeline, this time surfacing an old alleged voice recording that has floated around the internet for years. In those long-standing allegations, there is a claim that inside the walls of that business empire, there were disagreements over who deserved credit, over who was the actual engine, over who was the face versus who was the foundation. These are not confirmed facts. Let that be clear. These are internet artifacts that have refused to die because every time a Floyd Mayweather headline goes viral, somebody digs them back up and dusts them off. And 50 Cent knows exactly which shovel to hand, which follower. Now let the picture assemble. Rick Ross is publicly holding the $50 million torch for Floyd Mayweather. 50 Cent is publicly recycling old business ghosts around Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is publicly heading back into the ring for a September rematch at 49 years old, with a body of legal filings following behind Floyd Mayweather like a paparazzi caravan. Every one of these threads is pulling the story in a different direction, and every one of these threads is generating tens of millions of impressions per week. Somebody is winning this. Somebody is losing this. And most viewers cannot tell which is which, because the entire scoreboard has been rebuilt in real time. Here is what the average scroller is not clocking. Fame at this altitude is a leveraged asset, just like real estate, just like crypto, just like a private equity position. Fame can be borrowed against, hedged, refinanced, and reissued. When Rick Ross says Floyd Mayweather is still the face of boxing, Rick Ross is telling you the underlying collateral is still valuable, regardless of what any lawsuit alleges about the surface cash flow. That is why Rick Ross feels comfortable putting the $50 million number on a live stream in public, on camera, on record. Rick Ross is not being reckless. Rick Ross is being a real estate mogul. Rick Ross has been very open about a business philosophy Rick Ross calls OPM, other people's money, meaning wealthy operators rarely deploy their own cash first. So even the $50 million figure Rick Ross floated is not necessarily Rick Ross's personal checking account. It is a mobilization, an ecosystem, a Rolodex. And Rick Ross has one of the deepest Rolodexes in the entire culture. Now consider the counterside. 50 Cent has spent years turning the erosion of other people's brands into content. That is not an insult. That is an observation. And 50 Cent has monetized it beautifully. Every time 50 Cent posts a Floyd Mayweather clip, engagement spikes, subscribers rise, and 50 Cent's own brand tightens its grip on cultural attention. So even if 50 Cent genuinely wanted to be a friend right now, 50 Cent literally cannot afford to be, because the persona 50 Cent built demands a jab. That is a trap of the character 50 Cent invented. The character eats the man. And where does that leave Floyd Mayweather? Floyd Mayweather is somewhere in the middle of the ocean of this discourse. 49 years old, one of the greatest defensive fighters humanity has ever produced, still walking into gyms, still training, still telling reporters that boxing has been good to Floyd Mayweather, still saying Floyd Mayweather is grateful, still standing on a record of 50-0. Floyd Mayweather has repeatedly told interviewers Floyd Mayweather takes little to no punishment in the ring because of intelligence, calculation, and defensive mastery. So the physical instrument is arguably still intact. The question is not can Floyd Mayweather fight. The question is what is Floyd Mayweather fighting for now? The prize used to be the purse. The prize now might be the perception itself. Let me pull one more thread, because this is the one that ties the whole knot. Rick Ross said something else that most highlight clippers skipped. Rick Ross said the reason Floyd Mayweather deserves to go out and party is because Floyd Mayweather never had a childhood. No birthday parties. Christmas Eve, Floyd Mayweather was doing 3-a-day workouts. Elders at Floyd Mayweather throwing 3,000 uppercuts at a time. Rick Ross was essentially saying, do not measure Floyd Mayweather's spending habits against a normal person's spending habits, because Floyd Mayweather did not live a normal person's childhood. That is not an excuse. That is context. And context is exactly what internet culture strips away first when a headline goes viral. The 40-foot palm trees behind the pool are the compound interest of a lost childhood, and Rick Ross was reminding the public of that. Now here's the twist you did not come here for, and it is the one that matters most. If Floyd Mayweather truly is not broke, then Rick Ross wins this round of the culture war, because Rick Ross defended a friend against a mob and got proven right in public. If Floyd Mayweather truly is in trouble, then 50 Cent wins this round of the culture war, because 50 Cent will point at every joke post and say, I told you so, for the next 10 years. And that is why neither Rick Ross nor 50 Cent is willing to blink first. This is not gossip. This is positioning. Somebody's going to be able to say I was right when the smoke clears, and that person owns a permanent chunk of cultural authority for the next decade. That is the actual prize here, not the $50 million, not the bounce checks, the right to say I told you so. Zoom out one more time and look at the full picture, because the shape of it is stunning. A boxer who redefined pay-per-view, a rapper who redefined real estate hip-hop, and a rapper who redefined executive producing are all standing in a triangle around the same question, and none of them can leave the triangle without the other two moving first. Floyd Mayweather cannot confirm nor deny the finances without triggering either Rick Ross's I told you so or 50 Cent's I told you so. Rick Ross cannot walk back the $50 million cosign without looking like the cosign was theater. 50 Cent cannot go quiet without conceding that Rick Ross's version of Floyd Mayweather is the real version. So all three of them are stuck. All three of them are locked. And the audience, meaning you, meaning the millions of scrolling eyes right now, is the one deciding which corner of the triangle earns a crown. This is why the story keeps growing. This is why every clip pulls 1 million views. This is why every headline gets rewritten 23 different ways across 23 different blogs. This is not a scandal. This is a slow-motion audit of an entire era of celebrity wealth, played out in real time, in front of an audience that has been trained to sniff out a bluff. And the question is not whether Floyd Mayweather is broke. That is the surface question, and the surface question is a trap. The real question, the one you should be asking after this video ends, is this: what does it say about our culture that we cannot decide if the richest boxer in history is a billionaire or a bankruptcy? What does it say that a $50 million cosign from Rick Ross and a sarcastic Instagram post from 50 Cent carry equal weight in a court of public opinion? What does it say that the concept of Money Mayweather has become bigger than the man behind it? Because whatever answer you settle on for those three questions, that answer is going to find how you look at every celebrity fortune from this point forward. Drop your verdict in the comments. Who wins the triangle? Is Rick Ross right? Is 50 Cent right? Or is the answer hiding in a corner nobody has looked in yet? Tell me, and if you made it this far, you already know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this with a friend who swears Floyd Mayweather is broke, and share it with the one who swears Floyd Mayweather is untouchable. Let them fight it out in your group chat while I go dig deeper into the next chapter of this saga. Because trust me, there's a next chapter. There's always a next chapter with Floyd Mayweather. There's always a next post from 50 Cent. There's always a next live stream from Rick Ross. And I will be right here to break down every single one of them the second they drop. See you in the next one. And that detail alone should stop the scroll for a second. Because in the celebrity economy, silence is the loudest currency in the room. Nobody on the timeline is saying that part out loud, but everybody is thinking it. That is the sentence that will get quoted in the group chats tonight. Rewind that, because it changes the shape of the whole conversation. Read that one more time, because the second read hits harder than the first. That is not a rumor. That is receipts, and receipts move markets. And the internet caught it in real time, and is not letting it go. And that detail alone should stop the scroll for a second. Because in the celebrity economy, silence is the loudest currency in the room. Nobody on the timeline is saying that part out loud, but everybody is thinking it. That is the sentence that will get quoted in the group chats tonight. Rewind that, because it changes the shape of the whole conversation. Read that one more time, because the second read hits harder than the first. That is not a rumor. That is receipts, and receipts move markets. And the internet caught it in real time, and is not letting it go. And that detail alone should stop the scroll for a second. Because in the celebrity economy, silence is the loudest currency in the room. Nobody on the timeline is saying that part out loud, but everybody is thinking it. That is the sentence that will get quoted in the group chats.